And I kind of feel like there's some political machinations going on behind the scenes in Hollywood. Is the reason why these movies are coming out right now. Like maybe it is a part of your for your consideration campaign for the award season. So drop them in the last 3-4 months of the year. Have January to start collecting the numbers and like saying, "Oh, look at the numbers that I'm doing and still doing with this movie." May let us win an award in February. I feel like
Look, Andre, I'm going to stop you right there. Yeah, sure, we can talk about the politics behind the order of the white supremacists and domestic terrorism, the politics behind the conclave and the Catholic Church, maybe some politics behind Emilia Perez and cartels going undercover and everything. But how dare you presume that there's politics in Hollywood? No, ma'am. Okay, that is a clean house. Okay, no way would Hollywood muddy themselves with politics. Speaking of, let's move on to our next segment as we talk about The Apprentice, the indie movie. I said, can we call it indie movie? We'll call it indie movie. That I'm in, so I'm very much biased about this movie. Go see The Apprentice. I still haven't yet, but go see The Apprentice. Go see me in the background. I have a mustache. Sebastian Stan. There he is, or you may also know him as the Winter Soldier. He's done some other things, but let's be honest, that's him. I got to talk to him on set. He's a really cool guy. So Sebastian Stan has been quoted as the producers scroll past the name of the article, which I needed. He says that a studio CEO has told him that playing Trump would alienate half the country. So
that's something to say to a guy that you've hired to do a job, right?
Right. Which actually apparently that wasn't their studio CEO. I guess he just coincidentally knew another studio CEO. That was the vibe I got from the article. That wasn't the studio CEO of the movie. It was just another studio CEO that has talked to him. So Sebastian Stan says he has been warned by numerous people, including his mom, and like casting directors, other people saying, hey, you may not want to play Trump because that's a very controversial issue, very controversial guy. You could alienate some people. And Sebastian Stan has gotten out in front and said, screw it, I want to do it more now. Like he's wanted to do this. And in the article, it's really nice that he says, hold on, let me look it up. Basically, he says that of like, if there's any time to do it, now's the time. Like, now is the time, because what this movie is about, if you don't know what The Apprentice is about, it covers the late 70s, early to mid 80s, when Donald Trump, you may have heard of him, when he was younger, he was basically got taken under the wing of Roy Cohn and taught the ropes of business and society and politics and how to survive. And if there is anybody in history that should not have been teaching anybody, it was Roy Cohn. Unanimous bastard. You could just fairly objectively call this guy a bastard. So this movie talks about, it tells the story of how Donald Trump was taken under the wing of Roy Cohn, with director Ali Abbasi and his buddy, who are really fun to work with on set. They just move. And Jeremy Strong playing Roy Cohn, which I feel like we can talk about Jeremy Strong all day because Jeremy Strong's wonderful, let alone that we can talk about, I haven't even seen the movie yet, but I want to see his portrayal of Roy Cohn. Like, yeah, we can talk about Sebastian Stan, who they say arguably politics in Hollywood might be up for an Oscar for this one. I want to see if Jeremy Strong can get something out of this too, because I love them both. But this movie, apparently mixed reviews, because obviously it's a mixed topic, but rave reviews. And so I'm excited to see this movie. And it apparently gets weird and gritty, and it's not forcing an agenda. It's pretty much, I mean, yeah, obviously it's retelling. So yeah, you're going to have dialogue that didn't exist, events that may not have happened at that time or out of order, but it's telling the story of how Donald Trump was trained by Roy Cohn. Yeah. It's going to get gritty in, of storytelling, and I'm excited about it. That's The Apprentice. It's out now, and I want to go see it.
It's a dirty game, this world.
It is and it's been a dirty game since the late 70s.
I mean, but no, I'm just saying, like, the timing of this release is just so incredible.
Oh, you mean the perfect time to release this? Because depending on how things go next month, we could have the order, or he could kind of just start dissipating. Like, I mean, when would be another good chance to drop this movie?
We could
I'm
be
sorry.
on our baby girl.
We could be, you know, we're just, so yeah, so basically, yeah, Sebastian Stan, he's gotten a lot of warnings of saying this would alienate half the country. And unfortunately, I don't know why it is so close to 50% of our country feels certain ways about him. But yes, very controversial time in my country, and not even controversial topic. It's being objective, but it's not saying anything about Trump now. It's saying this happened then, but what happened then obviously echoes through the decades of just who Donald J. Trump was and is. And saying like, hey, I kind of really got started here.
Okay, well, listen, every year there's a batch of biopic movies or
Yeah.
movies about real people. We've had Marilyn Monroe last year. We had Aretha Franklin like the year before that. We had Oppenheimer last year, obviously.
We could go back a few years, say Ray, Ali, you know, there's every few years you get some, you know, like some big biopics.
And this is just the latest addition to that list of biopics. And the timing again is incredible because of what is happening at the release of this film, and
weeks before the election,
the presidential election, and is either going to work to someone's advantage to say, yeah, I mean, he was a pretty cool guy. Look at all the things that we know about him now. Or it's going to work to his disadvantage because he's just like, this is the asshole that we're thinking of electing. Either which way, that's neither here nor there. This film looks like it's going to be good because when you're doing a biopic, and you're doing a biopic that releases at the end of the year especially, you can just know that it's number one. Oh, and the one that Timothy Chalamet is doing, Bob Dylan.
Oh, yeah. I'm conflicted on that one, too, yeah.
Yeah, so when a biopic about a real person a movie is being released about them at the end of the year, the film, number one, is big, okay? Number two, the actor nearly killed himself trying to embody this real person. And three, you're going to learn a lot about this real person that you may not have already known. But at the very least, the dramatization of their life is going to affect you in some way because either you did know it and now you just have a visual, or you didn't know it before and now you have a visual plus the knowledge of what it was, right? And you're going to have feelings about that. So, I mean, the film itself is already, The Apprentice is already like, it's set up for success. It's set up for success. Even if you don't like the subject matter, if you don't like the person who they're talking about, the film itself is set up for success because it is a massive biopic and it's dropping at the end of the year. And everyone knows what that means. Great acting, great filmmaking, possibly a lot of truth bombs, right? I'm not going to talk about the political aspect of this at all because, number one, I don't live in that country. Number two, I don't want to be boxed in as saying that I have an opinion one way or another about how that election should turn out. I have my preferences, but do I want to think about Donald Trump any more than I have to? Yeah.
Nobody should. But as a guy who has voted in the upcoming election, election by mail, whoop. Get out there and vote, Americans. I'm going to quote director Ali Abbasi in this one because he said, the story can be viewed different ways. It can be seen as the story of a man becoming a monster, or it could be more about the human tragedy if the people in the story hadn't been so focused on winning and taking. And I feel like that's a wonderful way of saying, no matter which way you take it, this film is talking about
an asshole.
No good came out of this situation of Roy Cohn and Donald Trump. It's just one certified bastard trains a guy how to be a certified bastard.
Okay, listen, this is the Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh yeah,
for real. And I need y'all to remember that
the Wolf of Wall Street was also real too. That was a different bastards. Yeah. So
Donald Trump's father was a legit snake oil salesman. Okay, I just.
Objectively, yes.
Legit. Now, back to the story. the article that we were talking about, how is it that your boss tells you that by doing this thing that he's asked you to do, you're probably going to have a lot of people at the end of it that are not going to like you. But hey, you know what, buddy? I'm still asking you to do it. Like,
and that's what Sebastian was saying. It was like everybody telling him not to do it makes him wanted to do it more, you know?
Okay, regardless of what he wanted to do, even after hearing that stuff, how, as a person who's employed somebody else, are you saying, yeah, if you do this, the thing that I'm asking you to do, if you do it, a lot of people are going to hate you, but I'm going to appreciate you for doing it. Like, how did you say that? Like, how did you get that job?
Right.
It's like, did you get the job on the basis that you're able to be candid to your staff, or do you just like put your foot in your mouth and well, you know, this is what it is working for this studio? How? I have real questions.
I mean, I think what it boils down to, let's talk about what it is for an actor to take a role knowing that you portraying this role is gonna make enemies. You're gonna have people angry at you just for taking the role.
As an actor, sometimes we do things because it interests us.
Yeah.
And yes, it may not be it may not be a popular character, or it may not be a role that fits with the status quo. But if the story is good, the script is good, the people that we're working with are good, or the people that we want to work with, and the role itself interests us, then there's nothing you can say that's going to stop an actor, other than my schedule doesn't make your availability from doing that role.
Yeah.
And that to me is the mark of a true actor. That's craft. That's somebody that really enjoys what they do, and they want to embody something that might be considered difficult. And for that, I give Sebastian Stan his credit and his all due respect, because that's not an easy decision to make, especially like when Leonardo DiCaprio was doing Django Unchained. He knew that his character in Django Unchained, people were going to hate him. But
the character was not supposed to be liked.
Right. But he's like, I'm going to show up, I'm going to go to work, and I'm going to do the best job I possibly can do with the role that I was given. And I feel like Sebastian Stan had the same mentality going into this. So I can't hate on him for taking the role. And especially if he does it well. If I look at him and like how I looked at Jennifer Hudson as Aretha Franklin, or Ana de Armas as Marilyn Monroe, that means the man has done his job very freaking well. If he brings something like that to the screen, then no matter how distasteful the actual subject matter may be, I have to give him his props for taking that on and doing it.
And we can also look at it in two different ways, because Sebastian Stan took this role. I mean, what the movie is, The Apprentice, it's not about now. It's not sugarcoating anything that happened in the past. And it's not really, I mean, the director says he's now working from the angle of, hey, I'm trying to make Trump look bad. He's telling the story of during this time when these factual events happened. And here's what the results that you can see happen came from that. And so he's not going out there with the agenda of like, I hate Trump, let me show you why. But then on the reverse, you can look at the movie Reagan that just came out with Dennis Quaid. And that movie is panned. That is not like, nobody's talking about this movie because it is so ham-fistedly whitewashing Reagan's history for the agenda to make him look like he was a great guy the whole time.
What's new?
Surprise. Which, I mean, there's strong opinions you can have about Reagan and the things he did and the objective things that he did. But then it's like, okay, so Trump supporters are angry about this movie. Not enough people were angry about Reagan because it didn't work. It wasn't a good movie, and nobody's talking about it like, oh yeah, well, the movie is crap, Dennis Quaid was a good actor, whatever. No one's really talking about it. It's pretty much because it looked like it was more of a mouthpiece, a sugarcoating mouthpiece for an agenda. And then The Apprentice seems like it's different. You know, it seems like it has more of like I'm here to tell tell events of a story, maybe through, an artistic lens, because you're telling a story. Obviously, it's not going to be historically, factually accurate, everything about it, but it's stylized to tell you it's different.
Yeah.
And go ahead. Sorry, I'm just rambling.
I mean, I feel like Ronald Reagan always gets that treatment. The Reagans always do, but whatever.
Oh, yeah, buddy. Oh, yeah.
That's neither here nor there, but yes, I feel like the movie itself, regardless of who it's about, has to be good. The acting has to be good.
It has to be a good thing, yeah.
Those are two key things in order to make biopics by living or dead people work. The acting has to be outstanding, and the movie itself, how it visualizes those factual events, has to be compelling. If that's not there, the movie is just not going to work. If you're using it as a marketing material for the person, for the subject, then you're probably going to end up having things like Reagan. But
and it's embarrassing in counterpoint to what you're trying to do if the movie's just crap.
Yeah. But back to your earlier point about an actor taking on like undesirable roles or unpopular characters. Jeremy Strong is like the king of doing that, and he does it so well. And no one
does.
And the thing is, no one looks at him like, oh, wow, you've just alienated half your audience. They're like, no, we want to see Jeremy Strong in these types of roles because he's that entertaining to watch. And that's the same hope that I have for Sebastian Stan. I want to see people like him, no matter who he decides to play, just because he's that damn good of an actor.
He's a good actor, And that matters. Yeah, that matters. Like, honestly, I've personally been looking for a movie about Roy Cohn for a long time, just because I just happen to know enough about his past where I'm like, oh my God, he affected a lot of things in American history, and then there's just nobody talking about him. And then I see like Jeremy Strong, like, I'll play the Cohn, and then
the movie Vice. It's about another American politician. I just can't remember what his name is.
What's it called? The movie again? Vice?
Vice. V-I-C-E.
Oh, no. Yeah. Dick Cheney.
Yes.
Dick Cheney with Christian Bale, which Christian Bale played it wonderfully.
That was another good one.
That was good acting.
Factual events, great acting. And it was just like, it was literally what happened. I don't think that they were trying to put that one for your consideration, but that was a biopic that worked because the story was there, the visuals were there, and really Christian Bale was just like, I was like, who's Christian Bale? This is Dick Cheney. Like,
it's whenever you tell a story that you don't want to hear because you know you're going to get angry.
Yeah,
like that's what that movie was, and that's why I think some people didn't like it because you left it angry, because it was telling objective facts where you're like, God damn it, that's why that happened in history. Oh God, So.
Who was LeBron Productions movie about the guy who was head of Fox? The CEO.
Rupert Murdoch.
Anything about him. Russell Crowe's television series in which he stars in about Rupert Murdoch.
Was it Outfoxed or Bombshell?
Bombshell. That was I feel like, in my opinion, I don't know if it was, and Bombshell, in my opinion, was a kind of a fictionalized retelling of what it was like to work for Fox under Rupert Murdoch. But John Lithgow was in that one as Rupert Murdoch, and
John Lithgow is wonderful.
Yeah.
And how unfortunate it is to be blonde and working in Fox. Just No, and I didn't get to see that one, but I heard that was a really good movie too.
That is a really good movie. And then soon after, Russell Crowe starred in this series about Rupert Murdoch, and those are the type of stories about real people that you like to watch because they land and they nail, and it's not about making a guy look pretty or cleaning his past up or continuing the narrative of what he is supposed to be to the world. This is just
and that's the thing about the story of anybody. Good parts, bad parts. For some people, more bad parts than good. And that is talking about The Apprentice. It's out in theaters now. I'm in it. Go see it. We're gonna watch it.